Good morning, everybody. We're going to be going over a video today of a guy that's debating the theory of relativity versus needing God for our morals and values. He's going against Stuart Knechtle or Knechtle. I'm not really sure which one it is, but you can correct me in the comments. And they both had some really good points. Let's get started.
And I think it's very
Oh, yeah. I failed to mention that I watched the first 28 minutes of this video, and they're just going back and forth about relativity the whole time. This is kind of where it gets good.
convincing, actually. So I feel like if we accept that, like, I would argue that, like, this is a way we can arrive at morality. You would argue that, like, we've arrived at it through God and through the Judeo-Christian tradition. How do we, like, square these with one another? I think one is more plausible than the other. Because for God and others, the reason I don't believe in God is because doing so would commit me to a variety of philosophical positions that I think would be unlikely. So, beginning of the universe, where did the universe come from?
Okay, but I'm still waiting though for a more robust understanding for why you are valuable right now, why I'm valuable, and why you shouldn't smack me in the face if I say something offensive about your mother.
It's because the truth is that I value other people, and, like, that's true.
But why?
I was raised to value other people.
Because you were raised. Okay, I was not raised to value other people.
Okay.
I was raised to step on other people. I was raised in New York City.
I just gotta say, he was definitely raised by his dad to love other people. Stuart's got an amazing father.
So it's a dog eat dog. And so in downtown Manhattan, I better beat out the other guy by any means necessary in
He's
order
talking
to
about
get the
being raised
position
by
I want.
society.
So that's how I was raised, so don't tell me I'm wrong.
Well,
so I devalue human beings.
Imagine for a second that we had a society that was constructed with that as a moral principle. What would happen? It would cease to exist.
The Roman Empire did not cease to exist, my friend. The Roman Empire lasted for a really long time, and that's what I was describing. Downtown Manhattan right now, the dog eat dog, that's very Roman Empire. Sodom and Gomorrah as well, a mix.
For example, the Roman Empire, it's not here today. It was very.
But it lasted. How long did it last?
It lasted very long.
It dominated the entire world.
But imagine, like, within the Roman Empire.
There can be great evil within Hitler. Okay, let's go to Hitler. I mean, let's keep going.
Sure.
There wasn't breakdown.
He's bringing Hitler up.
There was incredible world domination, and there was evil within it. Dog eat dog.
Right, and over.
So I wouldn't usher in this type of goodness and say you have to have goodness in order for society to last. First of all, according to who? What's goodness?
Over time, they die out.
Over time, they die out.
Yes.
Over time, they die out. That's why it's wrong.
Well, okay,
because they die out over time.
Think about it.
They don't die out over time.
No. Think
We've been
about it
dealing
on,
with
like,
the same
more
sins
macro
today
level.
that we dealt with
Let's start,
2,000
like, within
years
just
ago.
a small community where people find it acceptable to kill one another, and then they do. What happens? It doesn't last. And, like, I understand what you're.
No, they dominate others, though. I'm talking about those that dominate others. Yeah, you're right. If it was a small community and you and I killed each other, we wouldn't last. I'm talking about the dominant societies, though, that looked at other tribes and said, let's go get them.
But
kill them off.
At the very least, like,
they were very successful.
Okay, but at the very least, can we start with this sort of, like, smaller community?
Why?
Okay, well, what you argued was that, like, it would die off. That's true. It's irrational.
Why is it irrational?
Because it would die off.
Okay, because it'll die off. A small little group.
Well, also, like,
that makes it irrational.
The more fundamental reason is that, like, it's not in our interest to enter into an agreement where people are okay with killing one another. It's not rational. And, like, I'd love to keep deferring to sort of, like, the Rawls and social contract here, in that, like, societal domination, we can still say that's wrong. That's the reference point here.
That's why I went ahead and skipped so much of the video, because he was bringing up these stupid points that all just fall back onto relativity.
Having such a tough time because for thousands of years, historically, people would have completely disagreed with that thought. It's rational not to enter into war. Do you know how many societies would say it is very rational to enter into war so I can get your land, so I can get your women, so I can plunder you? No, it's very rational. So you're saying, what, it's just based off of time maybe? So I want to give you an argument maybe. Just over time, people got to the point of reasoning together, oh shoot, we shouldn't have war. Let's just have peace. And so is that why we have worldwide peace right now? No, let me answer that for you. We don't
That's
have
an
worldwide
amazing
peace.
point.
So time doesn't make a difference.
Okay.
The sinful human heart always has evil and goodness within it. And that poisons the lot.
Or, well, but I don't think that necessarily has to be placed under a religious context. We could just say that, like, humans are interested in themselves. And that's something that's...
This guy, this entire video has just been rejecting any sort of Christian point of view. He wants to put everything on, oh, we can figure it out by ourselves. It's all just relativity.
That just happens to be true, and that's something that's caused societies to be so aggressive to one another at the time.
And I call that the sin problem.
Yeah. Can I ask you, like, just on a slightly different topic?
Yes.
So, like, you mentioned, like, God-shaped hole.
Yeah.
I think my my original question here, like, in the past, was like, if society sort of produced localized moralities without without appeal to God, then, like, how can that happen with them not appealing to God, without appealing to the Christian God? And your response was, everyone sort of has a God-shaped hole that they feel as though, like, certain moral principles, like, should be true. Could you flesh out that idea? I just want to make sure I understand.
Oh, absolutely. Dostoevsky said it. Nietzsche said it himself as well. Dostoevsky said, if there is no God, do what you want. And he was not saying, if you don't believe in God, do what you want and you're just a morally horrible person.
Yeah.
People think he said that. He didn't say that. He was saying, logically, if you don't believe in a God, then there's no moral obligation, shoulds and oughts, and so do what you want. But he said many atheists are good people, and that's true for me in my life as well. So just...
That was another popular atheist that said, if there's not a God, then why don't we just kill ourselves? I don't remember which one it was, but...
Because you have societies that are atheistic and are good in a way, where, again, I don't know moral, I don't know where they get this obligation of good, but you can be good without God, clearly. Yeah. And so a God-shaped hole more so is to, for me, psychology. Because I believe, my friend, if you live for any type of academia, your grades, if you live for what you're going to do next after you graduate, if you live for a girl in your life, if you live for any of these things, ultimately they're going to eat you alive. It does not fit in your God-shaped hole. What does fit in your God-shaped hole is someone called God, a transcendent, eternal source that'll never let you down. And psychologically, this is an agreement across the board. You have to have something eternal. It cannot be finite. This is why David Foster Wallace said everybody worships something. It's way smarter, and he was an atheist who hung himself, partly because of his God-shaped hole. It's way smarter to worship something infinite that will never let you down and will always be there than something that is finite that will always let you down eventually. Your parents are going to die if you're living for them. Your kid is going to get sick, maybe die, or maybe take off.
Yeah.
Eventually you're going to lose your kid. Eventually you're going to lose all these things.
Yeah.
So none of these things will fill your God-shaped hole other than God.
Sure. So I guess one of my questions there is that, is that an appeal to truth, or is it an appeal to convenience? And, like, I'd like to sort of...
I think you define truth as that which comports most with reality.
Yeah.
And reality is you're living for something, and I would call that something a type of vacuum that wants to suck in, it's a God-shaped hole, suck in anything to live for. What are you going to live for ultimately is going to help.
Got the goat coming in.
Is ultimately going to help sustain you in life, or it's going to harm you. It's going to lead to something like addiction.
Sure.
Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this episode. Hit that subscribe button. We'd love for you to join the family. Also, want to invite you to our church in New Canaan, Connecticut. It's New Canaan High
Go
School.
on these guys'
Sundays
channel and like and subscribe. They are awesome. Both Cliff and Stuart, they're beautiful people, and they're a blessing to our society. They bring so many people to the Lord that I don't know how much more to praise them. They're just amazing people. All right, guys, I hope you enjoy your Saturday. If you're watching it on a different day, then just enjoy that as well. Have a good day.